Welcome back. We are finally, it's at least 50 degrees, so we can get a little work done before the sun goes down. Maybe some after it gets dark, depending on how cold it gets. But we had some stuff come in for this car. Well, C10, actually, not the car. We had some stuff come in. Let's take a look at what we got and what we're going to throw in. So using the Gran Torino as a workbench for now, we have the long piece of trim that we're missing back here. We have the short piece of trim for the door, which we will put on after we get done banging that out, this dent out. We still need this lower piece, and then yeah, I guess we need another long piece. Didn't quite get all this worked out, but anyway, we're slowly getting some of the trim and some other stuff worked out. But we also got some new lights, and not everything came in the same shipment, so we got more coming in tomorrow. But I have new LED rears, and then the trim, and also the reverse lights. These old cars, especially even with not touching anything else and leaving the body alone, I still like to maximize the light output from the lights, just because I don't want to get rear-ended in this truck. Doesn't have the same safety rating. Obviously, you know, you can get hurt. But anyway, we have these lights to get changed out, and the front lights, and then we have some other stuff coming. But for now, the only thing I haven't covered is the dash pad. We have a new blue dash pad, and I will wait to put that in until after we get the windshield put in, because I need to fix this rust up here, and I don't want to throw ashes or welding or grinding or anything of that on the new one. I could cover it, put it in, but there's just no point till we get that fixed. So that is where we're at. We will get a few things going on getting these lights changed out. That should be pretty simple, and then we will wait for the other parts to come in, go ahead and get those done. All right, so I did not look these up very well. Obviously, you can see the difference right here is this has got to be spliced in or put a 194 plug, and that slides in. So this is what it looks like on the outside. Looks nice and clean. We will probably get a 194 plug. I may have one. Well, I just broke that off. That tells you how long that's been there. I may have a 194 plug. If not, we may make something temporarily just to get this project done. But for now, we're gonna get these installed. All right, in essence, for the time frame I've been given, I just showed you the difference. I will make something to make the socket work later. That turn signal can also be, well, this light can also be used as a turn signal. I don't know that I'll connect that or not, but I will get this working a little bit later. We'll test it here in a little while once the sun goes down, but for now it is installed. And now I'm seeing that probably gonna have to do something with this emblem just to make it look a little bit better. But again, budget build. Every build I do, I try to upgrade to LEDs. Again, for the sheer fact of I'd rather be seen than get rear-ended and just total out the truck or something like that. So we're gonna continue on getting the rest of these lights in, and then we will see where we're at on time when it gets dark. I am not about to bore y'all to death with showing you the other side. Obviously, it's a repeat of this side. This one's in. This one is in. And the rear bottom brake is in. We're still waiting on the LED tops. They didn't come in the same box. We'll do the same to the other side. Obviously, no big deal. It's pretty much the same. And then we will get those wired up here shortly, so I can give y'all a comparison after dark of the difference in right to left. I'll wait and do the next ones here once it gets dark, since they're not that big of a deal, and then y'all can see the comparison. But I always try to do that on any trucks I own if it's LED capable, which this truck is very easily converted into LED bulbs. Not only does it take less strain on the electrical system, but it also is brighter. I can be seen, so I don't have to worry about anybody hitting me. I'll stop explaining that because I just feel like I'm going on about it, but that's just how I am. Eventually we will get a new front grille, new headlights, and then we'll also convert these bottom bumper markers to LEDs as well. But for now, that's going to stay the same. And I know a lot of you are asking, Hunter, if you you know, look back at your old video, or if you're paying attention, you stopped the brakes. That's right. I haven't finished the brake system. I've got to crawl under the back, put that line in, and then try to bleed them out. It's on my list. I haven't had as much time as I've wanted. That shouldn't take much time, but it does because I've got to crawl under there. I don't fit very well. I'll probably raise the back end of the truck up and then get to work. But right now I'm kind of I'm at the mercy of the sun right now. I will try to come back out tonight and work on that. But if I don't get to it, that's something that I can look forward to when I have a little bit more time. So for now, these parts came in, so I want to get them on so they're not sitting, because I have plenty of parts. Let me show you. I have plenty of parts sitting in there. So we have way too much. We've got, yeah, that's just all in my way. So that's stuff that's got to be put on, but it can't till something else happens. So for now, I've got plenty of parts sitting around. We're gonna get these installed, and then once it gets dark time, I will show you how bright they are. I had to find some 194 bulbs that were actually good. I realized the right hand side, actually all the side marker lights were completely out. The bulbs were all blown out. So it took me a sec, but the fronts I've not changed the LED yet, and obviously we got a headlight out. Halogen's getting gone anyway, so not a big deal. We'll finish up the front later. For now, this is 194 bulb in the side marker, the old side marker. 194 bulb in the back side marker. Left hand side's LED, right hand side's halogen. As you can see, it glows just a little bit brighter. Tag lights we'll do something with also. Here is the regular. Here is the LED. And then LED side marker. LED front side marker. So big difference there. So since I kind of went the other way, front side marker, old front side marker. Old side marker. New side marker. So definitely gives it a little bit better look. Now we just gotta do the other side. So we're gonna get the other side knocked out. We're still waiting on the reverse lights up here, and then the trim for the back lights, and then that should be done. We can move on to other things. All right, the lights are all in, LEDs, except for the ones I did not get yet. We started cleaning this back bed because I realized I hadn't done it yet, and I didn't want to put that light in without cleaning it. So we're gonna go ahead and finish cleaning this little chalky area. I was gonna wait till I pop this dent out just so you could see how dramatic it is, but we're gonna go ahead and clean it because I'm kind of at a standstill, and it's pretty freaking cold. So I'm trying to do stuff that I can keep my glove on and somewhat feel my hand. So we're gonna get this cleaned up, and then we're gonna continue on. We are back. It is finally not freezing cold. It's actually back in the 50s. 3 days ago, it was snowing and ice everywhere. We're back working on the C10. We left off with the headlights and a few of the LEDs not being done. I actually broke, or the headlight trim ring was broke, so that should be here today. It's delayed with the weather as well. The carb that was on here was off a Cadillac or something a little bit newer. It needed rebuilding, so we are going with this Quadrajet for now. That should have been on it. It's a 72 date code. We're going to go back with that, and we got to figure out what they did to hack to get that Cadillac in here. So we may have to get some parts, but for now we're going to get this thing bolted on and get everything plumbed back up best we can. We may have to make a few adjustments or get some more hardware, but for now we're going to get this bolted up. I was going to try to clean up around here, and if I have to get too many parts, we may stop and clean up here and go ahead and paint this intake back nice. Just future plans while I have it off. But anyway, let's get started. All right, on top of the C10 content, I'm gonna add in some other stuff just because I'm doing a lot today. I had somebody come and cut these this quarter off this car. This car is toast. The body actually looks better than it is. The underside's completely rotten and the front end's toast. So I started parting the car. A lot of people don't like that, I'm sure, but all these parts are getting sold to go to another home where they can be put back, other cars can be put back on the road. So he came and cut all this quarter panel stuff, rear trunk stuff off that he needed, and grabbed the trim off the trunk and some other miscellaneous parts. But he's got that going. We have the new carb on, and I just realized that I put that distributor in and never set the timing. So that may be why it was kind of wanting to act weird with the old carb, but the old carb needed rebuilding anyway. We have a new Quadrajet on here, and the only thing we got to figure out, I'm going to try to look in my box and see if I have what I need to hook up the throttle, because currently I do not. So I will have to get something for the kick down the throttle. And then we started replacing rubber lines that needed done. So while we're in here, kind of cleaning up a little bit and making sure these lines aren't collapsed or anything like that. So we're just cleaning it up, and hopefully we will have it running, idling. And then I got to figure out why I am not getting brakes to the front. I'm not getting brake fluid. So we'll have to figure that out, which isn't a huge deal, but still got to work on it. But anyway, that's what we're working on today. And then we also will change the oil, do spark plugs, and check over the Dodge. He's got a brake. This is the Dodge that I worked on in the last video. He started hearing a brake grinding noise. So we're going to check that out before it goes to Tennessee. I told him he could park it here, and his dart's down there as well. So that's parked here. I got that work done as well, as I have some other side work I need to attend to. So we are going to be crunch time on this, trying to get it. We're going to try to make this to the next Tuesday night meet, and should we be able to, then great. If not, then we will try to make it to Cars and Coffee, which is the following Saturday. So I'm going to dig back in now that it's not freezing cold. It's 50 degrees and nice and sunny now. So while we have momentum with the weather, we're going to try to get some work done. All right, we have the oil draining on the Dodge. While that's draining, we're going to start taking a look at the spark plugs up top and get an idea for how easy they are to change out. If I remember right, there's nothing to them. We'll get started on that while this is draining. Once this is done dripping, we'll move over to the filter and get that off and the new one put on. And then we will fill it up with oil, do the spark plugs, and then we got these brakes off on the front end and look at them and see where it's grinding or what's making noise exactly. Yep, as I expected, the passenger side, no big deal. That's easy to get to. And the driver's side is actually pretty easy to get to. There's a little bit of brake lines in the way, but easy. So we'll get these spark plugs swapped out and then move on from there. All right, we have the filter in, well, plugged back in, new filter on. All the oil's drained down there in the pan. New oil is in, just waiting on this funnel to kind of go down a little bit. We have started on the plugs, and as you can tell, definitely not a bad time to change them. So we're gonna get all these changed out, and then the only thing we have left is to figure out the brake noise or whatever grinding noise he's hearing, whether that's front or rear. So we'll get into that probably here in a little while. First things first, we're gonna get some plugs done though, and we will go from there. All right, the left side of the motor is done. As you can see, they kind of get progressively worse the further back you go. Looks like the front two cylinders maybe burning just a tad bit of oil, not a huge thing, but definitely gonna go ahead and finish replacing these, and then we're gonna check out the brakes as mentioned, hopefully tonight, but if not, I may wait for some daylight to do that just so I'm not missing anything. But I may finish this and go drive it and try to figure out what the noise is he's hearing. I haven't heard it yet, which doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but just to make sure it's not coming from somewhere else before we start taking stuff loose for no reason. We will see what the deal is. All right, we have done all the plugs except for the last two because we do not have two more. I can't find them. They were left in the cab. I don't know if they got dropped out. The bag was kind of ripped, and it was kind of wet. So maybe the bag ripped and they disappeared. We'll grab two plugs tomorrow. We're gonna go drive it as is. All the plugs are changed minus the back two on the driver's side right over here, which is not a big deal. It'll still run, just obviously not have the same mileage on the plugs. Not a big deal. We're gonna go drive it, see if we can hear a noise, see if we can pinpoint what noise he's referring to when he says it's grinding, and then we're gonna come back and try to address that. Burning some midnight oil again on the C10. Pulled the first plug out, and yeah, it's pretty cruddy. It probably wasn't running great with that, but we're going to go ahead and fire that over and get it swapped out. We're going to swap all the plugs out. That's the only thing I have not didn't check yet was the plugs. Wanted to hear it pop over first. So new plugs, new wires, new distributor, and then now a new rebuilt quadra-jet. So we should run once we get the timing figured out. I accidentally bumped the distributor the other day and then realized I was out of fuel, so I was chasing my tail, trying to put it back because it would not fire over. Yeah, I forgot I only put like maybe a gallon of fuel in it, and then I flushed a good bit out. So that is one of those lessons you just kind of take on the chin and keep on working. So we're gonna get all these plugs changed out, and then we are gonna continue on. Driver's side is swapped out, and these are all toast. They all look about the same, but they are all toast. It was definitely burning a little oil, or something was a little bit wrong. I hope I'm off in that description once I get this thing finally popped over and running good and brakes done, but those do not give me much hope, but that's okay. We'll continue on. While it is daylight and you can actually see the chrome covers, they are back on, and we have new LED reverse and new LED brake and tails. We're gonna probably get something to clean this back up. I'm probably gonna remove the backing and figure out something there. I've got to try to find some missing letters that match, or get new letters, but I'm gonna try to fix that cruddiness in between, whether it be a wrap or paint. I'm not sure. We'll get to that later, but just wanted to show off the rear bling. And now we have super bright tail lights, super bright reverse lights, and that should help us from getting hit by anybody in these new cars. Just be a little bit more visible as I preach. But we're going to continue working, and we'll show you some more stuff. We're going to try to burn some midnight oil tonight and get some stuff done on this thing. We'll see where we land. New piece of side trim is on. We'll try to mimic the paint scheme from the new one onto the old one. I still got to order this long one over here, and then we've got to finish fixing this door to get this trim installed. But she's coming along. Never show the front end with both headlights in. The trim rings finally came in, so we got them both installed. They're a little bit more modern looking than I'd like, but it was the only not gaudy LED. And by that I mean, like some of you remember when I had my Crown Vic truck, those were pretty gaudy. That's probably the closest thing I can get to it. Not just ridiculous looking. So I'll be able to see at night with these. Halogens, just, I can't see anything. I can't see very good at night to begin with, so I gotta give myself every advantage. So we got those. The downstairs is working as well, and we are still working on doing some I gotta finish the last two spark plugs in the back, and then see where we are at on the brakes. So we are trying to make it to Tuesday night's meet. It is now Thursday. We're gonna burn some midnight oil. We'll see. If I have any major issues and I need to order parts, it may not happen, but we're gonna try our best. Another touch is we have the new license plate, well, old license plate that we'll use for registration for the vintage vehicle. So that's now on there instead of the Georgia tag where it came from. It is high time that we get this door fixed, and I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to fix it. Kind of an old school trick, if you will. But we're gonna get this hopefully straightened out as much as possible. We don't want to put the trim on yet because it would pop it off what we're about to do. As you can see, somebody looks like somebody at some point had another piece of aftermarket trim, because that's a different clip on there. But anyway, regardless, these are rotten at the bottom, but for now they're usable as a driver, so that's what we're going to continue with. Maybe eventually we'll source the same color doors, but for now we're going to try to get this fixed up. All right, so the Jesus clips gave me absolute fit getting those off. Those pieces are broken. We already have new to replace because we knew we were going to eventually replace these. So those are squared away. These are not stripped out like I was hoping they weren't. So now we're going to remove this panel right here. These door panels vary depending on what package you have. This is a Cheyenne, so it has 2 Phillips heads that are pretty large right here, 1 here, and then the rest are plastic C clips. And then there's 2 Jesus clips right here. If you don't know what a Jesus clip is, a lot of people call them that because if they go flying, you say some nasty words. Some people don't like it, so but that's what I've always heard them called. It's good to have backups. Mine didn't go flying, so we went ahead and put them on the new ones. We're going to get into this door and see if we can get this dent out with my method. Okay, it does not have to be this fancy equipment. I happen to have a portable pump. But yes, that is a basketball shoved in the door. You want to get it kind of down snug, sort of in the middle of where the dent is. And you got to be very careful because you also don't want to stretch this out. If the bottom is kind of questionable integrity wise, I would be very careful with this. But this is my method of popping it out. You do run the risk of popping this side out as well. We're going to hit it and see what happens. It's starting to kind of give this side a little bit. You want to be real careful not to bulge this side out. But it's starting to pump the basketball up. Boom. Just like that. So, as you can tell, it's not fully out. But that is the majority of it is popped out. There's still a little working to do in there, but we can definitely work. We need to go actually up high right here underneath this handle and get this wide spot out. But you just saw real time. Not the greatest angle. I apologize. I'm juggling things with 2 hands. Should have had another camera set up, but that's how it goes. But anyways, you don't have to have, again, this expensive equipment. You can use a bike pump even. But I had an old basketball laying around. I've also got an old football right here. Just kind of depends on your area. I'm going to use both to do this panel right here as well, and then possibly this panel right here if I can get something to push against. But that was, what, 10 seconds of work? It took me longer to get the door panel off. But that just saved this door. I mean, it looks 10 times better already. I can't even begin to tell y'all how that just popped out. But we're going to go up now and get up in this corner right here. So we're going to deflate this basketball now, and then we're going to move up. All right, that is deflating. That's one of the old school tricks, an old head. I'll say old head. When I was a kid, I was taught in some of these small dents with some of this metal. Obviously, today's cars, you're not gonna be able to do that in a lot of stuff. There's too many components in the door, too many electronics, too many things to break. You do have to be mindful of where your glass track is to be able to not screw it up. So be very careful. Again, if you do this, you don't want to push this out. As you can tell, we did not. It's structurally fine there. We do have a good bit of rust at the bottom, but it's not enough to question the integrity of that. And then, as you can see here, it's out mostly at the bottom. We gotta get this top part popped, and then that should be good right here on the door. And then we're also gonna change this door handle out while we're here. We were lucky enough to get somebody helped me out and gave me one of these that actually has the button and fixed, so I don't have to stick my hand way down in there. So we're gonna get that swapped out while this door panel's off as well. All right, we got our basketball positioned in here. I'm going to turn this on. It's already starting to inflate. We may have to use the football for this one, but we're going to see. Yeah, I'm gonna check it where we're at because I don't really, it's bulging out right, but that lock area is giving me a little concern. The basketball is pretty inflated right here, so we may go let it go a little bit longer, but it looks like I'm not quite reaching all the way up there, so we're gonna have to probably use the football, which is fine. We're gonna swap to the football and then we're gonna finish the rest of the way. All right, football is fully inflated in what I think is the correct area. Let me switch hands. I've got this out a little bit more. I'm still having trouble getting this key spot area. You can kind of see the low point. So we may take this lock cylinder off and try to pull the rest of that dent out. Otherwise, I am pretty happy with how this door came out. That solid bump at the bottom was massive. I still can't believe just how much that came out with a basketball. And I can't stress this enough. Use old, if you're gonna do these tricks, use old basketballs, because this is one from when I was a kid that I just found at my parents' house. They don't care about. It destroyed the leather on it, which I already knew it was going to do that. But as long as it holds air, it's perfect. Like, this football is fully inflated inside the door. It's not doing any damage to anything, but it's also not pushing out what I need it to. So we may have to get a little bit more creative and use some tools to do that. But this is very good for middle of the door areas where you can get to, kind of shove a basketball in there. That's what we'll be doing up this. We're going to take this cargo area out and then shove it up between the fender well, pop that dent out. Should notice it's there. And then we're going to have to figure out here. I haven't really got to that spot to see what we're going to do with that. We may just kind of 2x4 tap it out. But again, the goal is for budget, so we're not going to go crazy with replacement panels just yet. Try to fix everything we got and go from there. One more quick thing to consider when doing this, whatever you use to inflate, make sure you can deflate by just taking it loose, because this ball rolled and I can't quite get to the stem because it's on the inner side. So I wouldn't be able to get the air out of it otherwise without popping it or cutting a hole in it. And I won't be able to reuse this multiple times. So just keep that in mind if you ever do this route like I did. Have some way for the air to get back out of the hose should you need to not be able to get to the other end. All right, it is dark now. We have the door panel back on. Let me figure out my phone lighting. Yep, sorry, having to use flashlights. That's back on. Handles back on, and we got most of the dent out. I could take that keyhole out, pull it out a little bit more, but as the shape of this door and the bottom of it, I'm not terribly worried about it right now. There's still a little dent down here where that's creased. I can't really get down there. I can stud pull it, but I'm going to try to leave the paint alone. So I'm going to call this good. It's miles better than what it was. It was a huge cave-in right there in that corner. So that is now gone. So I'm going to be okay with it. Now we're going to figure this, as you can tell, is a giant crease. Luckily I can get to this cab corner if I can show you. Oh, hold on. I should be able to get back there and tap that out. So we're going to use a block of wood and a hammer and just kind of work it out a little bit at a time until it's flattened out, and then see where we're at. All right, I think we're going to get probably all we're going to get out of that without causing damage to the paint. And where the trim lies right here is just about as straight as an arrow. I'm having a little trouble getting in here enough to get this out, but I don't want to force it the wrong way and bring it toward me too much. I think I'm going to be happy with this, because whatever happened, something looks like something got shut in the door. Right here is why I'm saying that. It looks like something got shut in the door and whacked this spot right here. maybe even wide enough to get down in here, but that looks like what caused this. I don't want to go too crazy because, like I said, I really don't want to paint this. I'm trying to keep this thing as is as much as possible. There's gonna be some areas that I don't have a choice, but I'm trying to keep this truck original. It's only original once. It is what it is. Some of you can be mad about that, but where the trim goes is straight. And then, like I said, there's one little low spot right in here, but other than that, all this over here came out and all this up here came out. So it's just this one little canal, and you can see I've kind of tapped at it to try to get it out. I just don't want to force it any more than I have to, but I'm going to tap on it a little bit more. If I can get this one high spot out right here, then I think it's going to come on, but I'm not going to spend too much more time on it. This is pretty easily accessible if the seat's, you know, able to be pushed away like it is right now. So this is probably where I'm going to stop. I'm going to give it a couple more taps right in here, and then if it doesn't come out, we're going to get the trim on and get back to work on some other stuff. I'll just briefly put a piece of trim on there to see where I'm at with the edge. It looks like I am almost, there's a little low spot in the middle, but I'm almost perfect with the trim as far as lining up where it was. I can't really get that crease out just due to, I can't get in this corner at all. So there's a seam back there that rolls off and I can't get to it. I would have to pull that dent out essentially with a stud welder. I just don't want to disturb this paint. So this is where we're going to stop on this. I'm going to try to give it one more little go at this little area right here. But after that, I'm going to call it on this, bolt that piece of trim in, and then we're going to see about getting this trim on the door on also tonight. That's what I'm talking about. We can actually see what we're doing. All the lights are LED now, except for these front bottom ones. I didn't care for those. I sent them back. They didn't fit great, and the way they hooked up was trash. So we're going to figure out something else. I may need to go new lenses and then change the LED bulbs. But as you can see, we can be seen now. Don't worry about that trim being off. I've got to fix that. I didn't care for how it mounted. Nice and bright back here. We've got to figure out tag lights. We don't have those apparently, but that's no problem. We'll get that squared away. So as you can see, they need to be aimed down a little bit, but headlights are good. The front end's also raised up for the wheels being off, so we'll center that once we get that down. But yeah, exactly what I wanted. Didn't take me too long to do. And then we also have trim now on this door, and the dent is popped out for the most part. We still got this little bit down here that I'm not going to fool with, and then a little bit of crease over here. But other than that, it's a lot better than it was. Now we just need to clean that door a little bit better. And then I got to decide if I'm going to paint this trim and polish it to match this, or just get all new trim and kind of fix it up a little bit. So we'll see. Trim's expensive. And then the seat's gone again. And the seat is gone again because of what's in this box. The seat is in the back of my truck right now, and we got sort of something for this seat. So we're going to back over where I have a little bit more light, and we're going to get started on this seat. So here's a before. All right, now that we are in a little bit better light, as you can see, I would love to, the plans I had basically did not fall through with the interior for this truck. So I promised y'all a budget build finally, because the wagon got blown way out of proportion. As much as I would love to go back with this diamond stitch and a new seat cover and new foam, is just not in the budget now. So we are going to cut this fabric that's scratchy and not good up, and then we are going to, yep, Mexican blanket it is. That's what I was going to do on the power tour on the wagon just to get me by, and that is what we are doing for now on this seat. Eventually we will get that seat nice and done, or we'll find a seat that looks a little bit better, but for right now, this is what is going on. So we're going to take our time and wrap this up and zip tie it up and make it look nice and clean. We're going to start with cutting the existing fabric that's hardened up and cut it smooth, and then we'll spread this out and get it going. Okay, we spread out. This is roughly where I think it's going to be. I may pull it down a little bit more in the back to try to cover up this bottom just a hair more. It's right on the line. Exactly what I wanted. It's got hints of blue, but it's not overly annoying. I hate the covers that you can buy that are like 50 to 100 bucks. This was, I think, $19.99 shipped to the door. So this will work for the time being. I don't hate it at all. It will probably stay a little bit longer than anticipated. Again, this is probably about as high as I can go with it. We'll poke holes and run zip ties to the hog rings that are existing and make a pretty quick job out of this. And then once done, we will cut a slot for the seat belts and whatnot to go through. For now, and again, I'm not hurting this seat. It'll eventually get recovered, or I'll find a different seat. So nothing's going to get hurt besides zip ties and this blanket. This blanket will have some holes popped in it. Tools for this: simple zip ties, pair of cutters, and then a dowel. I always keep this Phillips head around because it's pretty much rounded out on the end. It makes a good pick to pop a hole in for a zip tie real quick. So we will get back to work on getting this on, and then maybe back in the truck tonight. We will see. I'm running out of gas, and it is getting kind of late. All right, the seat is pretty much zip tied where it's at. I'm going to turn it sideways and finish these end caps over here. And then we're going to cut off also these strands. I don't really care for that. So we're going to cut those off, all of them. And then we're going to flip one way and then flip the other way and tuck these over a little bit tighter, make it look a little neater. I just don't like the draping. Just a pet peeve of mine. So anyways, we're gonna cut these off with some scissors, and then this is how I always do it, just for those that have never done this and you want to do it a little bit better. Obviously I didn't have long enough zip ties, so I had to use two, but I leave the top kind of loose because it can always come up a little bit if it needs to, and then I go down here and do this bottom and actually cinch it pretty tight to the edge, and then fix the sides. Once the sides are done, I pack in here a little bit better, and as you can see, it kind of creeps down a little bit. You don't want to get it too tight up on the top because you want to have this room for it to tuck in here, because you're going to make a cut for the seat belts to come through. So you don't want it to get pinched and break, but you also don't want it to be so loose that it's sliding all over the place. So this is kind of where we're at right now. We will get the sidings done and then pull that top tight and be done with it. That side is done. Looks pretty good. We still got to tighten up the top. I may loosen it a little bit. It's getting a little bit more slack in the middle than I'd like, which is why I don't tighten the top up till last. We're going to finalize this side and then we'll make the judgment call on that. But so far, that's where I'm at. So those can afford to go up a little bit more. So we may, to give us some slack. We'll see. All right, she is all zip tied up, nice and neat and stretched out. It's a little tighter than I'd like it to be in the middle section where the seatbelt's going to come through, but all in all, not a bad idea, not a bad job. I do a few things differently, but I always say that and I always do it the same way. The easiest way for when you figure out where your seatbelts are is to just take a dull screwdriver and pop it through, and then go to the other end of where your seatbelts need to pop through, and then pop it through, and then just take a razor blade and slip that little, just make one little cut in there, pop the seatbelts through, done, call it a day. So we're gonna get this back in the car here soon. I'm not gonna bolt it up just yet in case I need to make any modifications to anything else in the cab and I need the room behind it. It was super useful banging out those dents to not have the seat all jammed up in there. But we are going to set it back in the cab here in just a minute. As soon as I get a little bit more strength in me, because this seat weighs a lot more than I'd like it to, but more so it's just awkward. Anyways, we'll get this in and yeah, keep working.